A very good morning. You're watching the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you, and here are this morning's headlines. Home Minister Rajnath Singh says situation in Kashmir Valley has improved significantly, says security forces told to avoid use of excessive force while dealing with law and order problems. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to begin two-day visit to India on Wednesday to hold the 12th annual India-Japan Summit with Prime Minister Narendra Modi to lay foundation stone for India's Bulletin project. United Nations imposes fresh sanctions on North Korea, sets cap on oil exports to the regime, bans textile exports from there. No acid freeze on Kim Jong-un. Irma continues to wreak havoc in the United States. Several Florida cities flooded. Massive power cuts. MEA says evacuation of Indian nationals from Caribbean island of St. Martin top priority. And after 8 long years, Pakistan set to host Independence Cup 2017 to face World 11 for a series of 3 T20 internationals. A top story from Jammu and Kashmir. Home Minister Rajnath Singh has once again appealed to Kashmiris to stay away from stone pelting. He also instructed the security officials to avoid using excessive force while dealing with law and order problems in the valley. Singh, who is on a 4-day visit to Jammu and Kashmir, also said that the situation in the valley is improving. Here are the details.
On the 4th and final day of his Jammu and Kashmir visit, Home Minister Rajnath Singh said that the situation in the valley has improved significantly over the past year. Singh said that the permanent solution to the Kashmir issue is based on 5 C's: compassion, communication, coexistence, confidence building and consistency.
हालात दिनों दिन बेहतर हो रहे हैं। मैं यह दावा नहीं करना चाहता कि पूरी तरह से ठीक हैं, लेकिन हालात पहले से बेहतर हो रहे हैं, यह मैं विश्वास के साथ कह सकता हूं।
Responding to the question whether the government was ready to hold talks with separatists, Rajnath Singh said that he was open for talks with anyone who wants to resolve the Kashmir issue and that the government does not want to leave out any stakeholders.
यहां आने के बाद सिविल सोसाइटी के बहुत सारे डेलीगेशन से जहां हमारी बातचीत हुई है, उसमें नॉन पॉलिटिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से वो भी मिले हैं, स्टूडेंट्स भी मिले हैं, टीचर्स भी मिले हैं, मेजर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज के लीडर्स भी मिले हैं। सभी के साथ हमारी बातचीत हुई है।
Singh also said that the security forces have been instructed to avoid use of excessive force while dealing with law and order problems in the valley.
जो छोटे बच्चे हैं, below 18, इनमें से बहुत सारे ऐसे बच्चे होंगे जिन्होंने कि किसी के बहकावे में आकर पहली बार कोई क्राइम किया होगा, कोई गुस्ताखी की होगी, कोई गलती की होगी। लेकिन उनके साथ अपराधी की तरह, क्रिमिनल की तरह ट्रीट नहीं किया जाना चाहिए। जो भी कार्रवाई करनी है जुवेनाइल एक्ट के तहत ही होनी चाहिए। दहशतगर्दों ने कश्मीर की कई पीढ़ियों को बर्बाद किया है, दहशतगर्दी के कारण बर्बाद किया है, और यकीनन हम एक और पीढ़ी की जिंदगी को किसी भी सूरत में खराब नहीं होने देंगे।
In the last 3 days of his visit, Singh met civil society members, business leaders and interacted with police jawans, CRPF and BSF personnel in the state. Singh also held meetings with Chief Minister Mehbooba Mufti and National Conference leader Omar Abdullah. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. India on Monday agreed to provide a further defence assistance to war-torn Afghanistan during a meeting between External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and her Afghan counterpart Salahuddin Rabbani in New Delhi. Now, addressing a joint press meet after co-chairing the Indo-Afghan Strategic Partnership Council, both the leaders vowed to combat terrorism. The Afghan leader noted that India and Afghanistan were the victims of terrorism and violent extremism. Both the countries inked 4 pacts, including the Motor Vehicles Agreement, and discussed the measures for enhancing trade and investment cooperation. Afghanistan also pushed for India's permanent membership at the United Nations Security Council. Salahuddin Rabbani later met Prime Minister Narendra Modi and discussed bilateral relations.
We remain united in overcoming the challenges posed by cross-border terrorism and safe havens and sanctuaries to both our countries. We will extend all possible assistance and begin implementation of the near 500 scholarship programs for the next of kin of the martyrs of Afghan National Defense and Security Forces from academic year 2018.
We thank India for our continued security cooperation. Afghanistan remains the frontline state in the fight against terrorism, and the enabling environment for terrorism is directly linked to the continued support they receive from outside of Afghanistan.
And Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko is in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold talks with the visiting president today. Now, the thrust of the talks between the two sides will be defense, trade and investment. Lukashenko will also meet President Ramnath Kovind, the Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj during his 2-day visit. Now, this is Lukashenko's 3rd state visit to India as the President of Belarus, the last one being a decade ago. His visit comes in a year Belarus and India are celebrating the 25th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties.
He is on a state visit after 10 years of a gap. The last time he had visited India was in 2007. Of course, the previous one prior to that was in 1997. So this is actually very timely and overdue visit which is happening now. Last year in Tashkent summit, when Prime Minister had gone for Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that time he had met President Lukashenko. That was the first meeting between these two leaders, our Prime Minister and President Lukashenko. We set the entire ball rolling, and this visit has been now. And as to the relationship and the areas of collaboration, as we know, we have been collaborating in many areas. For example, I'll give you one: powder metallurgy. Hyderabad Center, which we have Advanced Research Center in powder metallurgy, was established in Hyderabad with the help of Belarus. They had sent us both equipment and technology, so much so that one of the technologies has since been commercialized by one of the companies of India and is being also into business market. That is one of the success stories which I can point. It also indicates the strength of relationship between India and Belarus in this particular area. As we speak, there are many other areas also which are being discussed with Belarus. Of course, a lot is work in progress. Some of them may fructify tomorrow as they sign the MOUs and agreements.
And Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe will begin his 2-day visit to India on Wednesday. Now, during the visit, he, along with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will hold the 12th India-Japan Annual Summit in Gujarat capital Gandhinagar. The two leaders will look at ways to enhance multifaceted relations between the two countries and carry forward their special strategic and global partnership. The summit takes place amid rising tension in the Far East after North Korea tested a hydrogen bomb, launched a ballistic missile over Japan, and the growing Chinese assertiveness in the South China Seas. Now, this will be the 4th annual summit between Prime Minister Modi and Abe, during which the focus of the talks is expected to be on trade, defense and infrastructure. The two leaders have met 10 times in the last 3 years, with the last being on the sidelines of the G20 summit at Hamburg in the month of July. Prime Minister Modi has visited Japan in November last year, while Shinzo Abe visited India in December 2015.
Our shared values of openness, democracy and respect for the rule of law, and a high degree of convergence in the political, economic and strategic interests provide an enduring basis for a strong partnership between India and Japan. And we are confident that Prime Minister Abe's visit will present an occasion to demonstrate this concretely.
And in related news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe, will lay the foundation stone for India's Bulletin project. Now, the work for the Ahmedabad-Mumbai high-speed rail project will begin this month and is slated to be completed by 15th of August 2022. Now, 92% of the project is elevated, while 6% is a tunnel.
India will soon be among the 15 nations where bullet trains operate. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe will lay the foundation stone for the proposed Ahmedabad-Mumbai high-speed rail network, commonly known as the bullet train, on September 14th. Japan is a leader in bullet train technology and has been operating it with an incident-free track record for 5 decades. The bullet train, which has a capacity to accommodate 750 people, is expected to reduce travel time between the two cities from 7 to 3 hours. The maximum speed for the bullet train in India is 320 kilometers per hour.
सब चाहते हैं सुविधाजनक, तेज गति से चलने वाली ट्रेन्स भारत में आए। इन दोनों महानुभावों के कर कमलों से इस काम को शुरुआत की जाएगी। ये भारत के आगे के ट्रेन की व्यवस्था को पूरी तरीके से, रेल की व्यवस्था को पूरी तरीके से रेवोल्यूशनराइज, ट्रांसफॉर्म करने वाला इनिशिएटिव परसों शुरू होने जा रहा है।
The 508-kilometer-long project is estimated to cost 1,10,000 crore rupees on completion. Out of it, Japan is giving a loan of 88,000 crore rupees. The interest on this loan is a minimal 0.1%, and it is to be repaid in 50 years with a grace period of 15 years. The project is expected to provide 12 to 15 lakh jobs. A high-speed rail training institute is also being set up in Vadodara for the project to train the nearly 4,000 people needed for its smooth operation. The project will also see the longest tunnel in India being constructed. The 21-kilometer-long tunnel will have 7 kilometers of its stretch under sea.
तो मैं समझता हूँ इतने कम खर्चे में इतनी बड़ी व्यवस्था बुलेट ट्रेन की भारत में आना, उसके इर्द-गिर्द लाखों लोगों को नौकरी मिलना, काम के अवसर मिलना, उसके इर्द-गिर्द नई टेक्नोलॉजी आने से भारत के उद्योग जगत को और प्रोत्साहन मिलना, भारत सस्ती बुलेट ट्रेन बनाए और पूरे विश्व में एक्सपोर्ट करे, उसका मौका शुरू करना।
The groundwork for the project is in place and the process of land acquisition is in completion stage. On the Ahmedabad-Mumbai route, a total 12 stations have been proposed that include Mumbai, Thane, Virar, Boisar, Vapi, Bilimora, Surat, Bharuch, Vadodara, Anand, Ahmedabad and Sabarmati. Apart from the Railway Ministry, the state governments of Gujarat and Maharashtra are also assisting in implementing the project. Arvind Kumar Singh's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
On to some other news now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday addressed a students' convention to mark the 125th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's Chicago address and BJP ideologue Deen Dayal Upadhyay's centenary celebrations. Now addressing the event, the Prime Minister stressed on the need for all Indian citizens to join in the campaign for a clean India. The theme of the convention was Young India, New India.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday expressed hope that youth power will steer the nation towards job creation, cleanliness and social change. Speaking at the Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi, he urged students to focus on cleanliness while campaigning for university elections. The Prime Minister also said that those who clean roads have the first right to chant Vande Mataram.
50 बार सोच लीजिए, क्या हमें वंदे मातरम कहने का हक है क्या? हम लोग पान खा करके उस भारत मां पर पिचकारी मारे और फिर वंदे मातरम बोले? हम वो लोग सारा कूड़ा कचरा भारत मां पर फेंके और फिर वंदे मातरम बोले?
Referring to Swami Vivekananda's Chicago address as 9/11, the Prime Minister said the day entered public imagination after the 2001 terror attack in the US, but there was another 9/11 in 1893 that was all about love, harmony and brotherhood.
विश्व को 2001 से पहले ये पता ही नहीं था कि 9/11 का महात्म्य क्या है। दोष दुनिया का नहीं था, दोष हमारा था कि हमने ही उसे भुला दिया था। और अगर हम न भुला देते तो शायद 21वीं शताब्दी का भयानक 9/11 न होता।
The Prime Minister's speech to mark the 125th anniversary of Swami Vivekananda's Chicago address and the centenary celebrations of Deen Dayal Upadhyay was heard by university students across the nation via video conferencing on Monday. Bureau Report, Rajya TV.
And on to some other news now. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Monday released a documentary film, Kumbh, Eternal Journey of Indian Civilization. Now, Naidu said that its citizens, especially the younger generation, should be fully acquainted with the roots of Indian culture, ethos and history. The Vice President said that the knowledge, understanding and history about the country was known through the perspective of foreign writers. He further said that the Kumbh Mela illustrates that India is the spiritual capital of the world and it is an event where great spiritual integration of people take place. Now, stating that culture and religion were not the same, the Vice President complimented the India Inspires Foundation and the Indus University who made the Kumbh Mela documentary.
This is a glowing symbol of India's rich spiritual heritage. The Kumbh Mela is the world's largest and biggest gathering of pilgrims at one event seen at the Kumbh Mela, where millions of people across the country and also from abroad, they come here to the holy rivers and then they take bath and also they gather there to purify themselves. So Kumbh Mela illustrates that India is the spiritual capital of the world. While the Purna Kumbh Mela is held at Haridwar, Allahabad, Nasik and Ujjain every 12 years. When we talk of culture, we are not talking of religion. Religion, according to me, according to Indian belief, is a way of worship, whereas culture is a way of living.
And now an update on the school murder, and the Supreme Court has issued notices to the central government, to the CBI, Haryana government and the CBSE after a 7-year-old boy was murdered in a toilet in Gurugram's Ryan International School. Now, both the central and state government have assured the parents of fair probe. Now, so far, 2 top school officials have been arrested and an SIT has also been formed to investigate the matter.
After countrywide rage over the killing of a 7-year-old Pradyuman Thakur inside Gurugram's Ryan International School, the Supreme Court on Monday has issued notices to the central government, the CBI, Haryana government and the CBSE. The victim's father, Varun Thakur, had sought a CBI probe in the case, which prompted the Supreme Court to look into the matter. His petition also asked for comprehensive guidelines for all schools to avoid such tragic incidents in future.
This is happening everywhere in the country. If this is so, we want this action to be initiated and taken not only against of this school, but fixing the responsibility and liability upon all the schools whosoever is defying such rules and regulations. And let there be an audit, let there be a guideline of the Supreme Court, and this is for this we are approaching to the court. And also for a full-fledged, free, fair, impartial and independent investigation, it should be conducted through the CBI.
ये सारी चीजें मैं बोल चुका हूँ. ये चीजें हमारे सबको और वो करती हैं, सपोर्ट करती हैं कि हाँ, इस स्कूल में सिक्योरिटी लैप्सेस थी, जो एक रीजन है प्रद्युम्न की मौत का.
Taking action on the case, 2 top officials of the school have been arrested, while the acting principal was detained for questioning by the Gurugram police. 14 police teams constituted to probe the case questioned the school staff, while an SIT team would interrogate school CEO Ryan Pinto and director Albert Pinto in Mumbai. This even as Ryan Pinto and his parents approached the Bombay High Court seeking anticipatory bail in connection with the case.
जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट के अंतर्गत प्रावधान है जो लोग हैं रिस्पॉन्सिबल टू इंश्योर अ सेफ एनवायरनमेंट, जो नेग्लिजेंट रहे हैं या उनका और कोई रोल रहा है, उसका हमने जुवेनाइल जस्टिस एक्ट कल इन्वोक किया था. उसके संबंध में हमने 2 गिरफ्तारियां की हैं. जो स्कूल का जो मैनेजमेंट के जो रिस्पॉन्सिबल जो लोग हैं, उनको 2 को हमने गिरफ्तार किया है और उनको हम कोर्ट में पेश करेंगे.
Both HRD Minister Prakash Javadekar and Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar gave assurances to the distressed parents that there won't be any leniency and the school management will be held accountable.
स्कूल की जो घटना हुई बहुत दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। इसके घटना के घटित होते ही तुरंत मैंने अपने शिक्षा मंत्री को गुरुग्राम में भेज दिया था। वो सब चीज़ों पर ध्यान किए हुए हैं। जो भी दोषी उसमें होंगे उनके खिलाफ सख्त से सख्त कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
हमारी टीम गई है, हरियाणा की सरकार भी हरकत में आई है और पुलिस भी काम कर रही है। तो मुझे लगता है नतीजा आएगा, दोषी को सजा होगी और ये फिर से न हो। इतनी कड़ी एक माहौल भी बनाने की बात है, तो निश्चित रूप से हम संवाद करते रहेंगे।
A show cause notice by the district administration has been issued to the school to ensure safety in its premises, and the school has 15 days to respond to it. All Ryan Group of schools in Delhi NCR were shut today and will remain closed tomorrow as well. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Time for all the international news now. And the United Nations has imposed a fresh set of sanctions against North Korea in the wake of the latest massive nuclear test conducted by the regime. However, the sanctions were passed unanimously only after the US watered down its original tougher resolution that called for blocking all oil supplies to North Korea and also freezing Kim Jong-un's assets. Meanwhile, stepping up pressure against North Korea, now Peru has expelled North Korean ambassador, giving him 5 days to leave the country. Now, Peru's move comes after Mexico had declared North Korean ambassador persona non grata and had expelled him. The United Nations Security Council stepped up sanctions against North Korea, imposing a ban on the country's textile exports and capping imports of crude oil. The 9th sanctions resolution against North Korea since 2006 was unanimously adopted by the 15-member council.
The draft resolution received 15 votes in favor. The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously as Resolution 2375 of 2017.
Strengthening sanctions today.
The resolution was passed after the United States watered down an initial tougher draft resolution. The demands were toned down after U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, held a series of closed-door meetings with her Chinese and Russian counterparts ahead of the Security Council vote to win their support. The revised draft sets up a cap on oil exports to North Korea, but it doesn't block them altogether. Nor does the resolution impose a travel ban or asset freeze on the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un as demanded in the earlier resolution.
Today's resolution would not have happened without the strong relationship that has developed between President Trump and Chinese President Xi, and we greatly appreciate both teams working with us. We don't take pleasure in further strengthening sanctions today. We are not looking for war. The North Korean regime has not yet passed the point of no return. If it agrees to stop its nuclear program, it can reclaim its future.
The sanctions against North Korea include ban on condensates and natural gas liquids, a cap of 2 million barrels a year on refined petroleum products, a cap on crude oil exports to North Korea at current levels, ban on textile exports from North Korea. Backing the sanctions, Russia and China have urged North Korea to take the resolution seriously and put an end to its nuclear program.
中方敦促朝方正视国际社会要求朝方停止核岛开发的愿望和意志，切实遵守和执行安理会决议。
Считаем крупной ошибкой недооценку этой российско-китайской инициативы. Она остается на столе Совета Безопасности ООН, и мы будем настаивать на ее рассмотрении.
We believe that these measures, if fully implemented, will significantly undercut North Korea's capability to pursue further nuclear weapons development. The resolution also sends a clear message to Pyongyang that enough is enough.
The toughest UN sanctions so far against North Korea come in the wake of North Korea's 6th and biggest nuclear test last Sunday. Pyongyang claims it tested a hydrogen bomb that can be loaded onto an intercontinental missile. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And big story coming in from the United States, where despite being downgraded from a hurricane to a tropical storm, Irma continues to wreak havoc in the United States. It has flooded several Florida cities with heavy rain and a high surge of seawater. It has cut power to millions of people and has ripped roofs off the homes. Now, one of the most powerful hurricanes recorded in the Atlantic, Irma is now moving into Georgia with an estimated damage of $20 to $40 billion. Now, US President Donald Trump has vowed a full response to Irma as well as aid. The hurricane killed 38 people in the Caribbean, including 10 in Cuba, which was battered weekend by ferocious winds and 36-foot waves. Flooding seen in Florida even as Hurricane Irma has weakened into a tropical storm and is moving northwards. At least 4 deaths have been reported due to the storm in Florida. About 6.5 million homes here, 2/3 of the total are without power. Relief operations are underway. The islands of Florida Keys and western parts of the U.S. state bore the brunt of the Category 4 hurricane. Some 6.3 million people in the state were told to evacuate before Irma arrived. The airports have been closed, including the Miami International Airport. The Keys are still cut off from the mainland as the 42 bridges that link them are being assessed for damage. President Donald Trump has released emergency aid for Florida, describing the hurricane as a big monster.
The Keys are going to take a while. We have not assessed the structural integrity of the bridges there. There's some early reason to believe that some of the drawbridges that were up may or may not have been bent. And so restoring those is going to take some time.
My heart goes out to the people in the Keys. I mean, there's devastation. And you know, I just hope everybody you know, survived. It's horrible what we saw. I know for our entire state, but especially for the Keys, it's going to be a long road. There's a lot of damage.
Meanwhile, at least 10 people were killed by the storm on the island of Cuba. Most of the deaths were either caused by collapsing buildings or electric shocks. Irma packed winds of more than 260 kilometers per hour by the time it made landfall in Cuba late on Friday and swept across 320 kilometers along the island's northern shore. 3/4 of the population are without power. President Raul Castro, in a message, asked Cubans to summon organization and discipline.
Enfrentemos la recuperación con el ejemplo del comandante en jefe de la Revolución Cubana, Fidel Castro, quien con su permanente fe en la victoria y férrea voluntad nos enseñó que no existen imposibles. En estas difíciles horas, su legado nos hace fuerte y nos une.
Irma is the most powerful Atlantic storm in a decade and has caused widespread destruction on several Caribbean islands, causing at least 38 deaths. In the island of St. Martin, majority of the homes are now uninhabitable. Widespread damage has been reported in Turks and Caicos Islands, Barbuda, Anguilla, Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. Meanwhile, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj has said that evacuation of Indian nationals from the affected zones is her ministry's top priority. Evacuation flights have been organized by the MEA. Indian missions in US, Venezuela, France and the Netherlands are in touch with the local government officials to provide assistance to the affected Indians. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And on to sports news now, the World 11 T20 International Series will begin from today in Lahore in Pakistan. The World 11 team is led by South African captain Faf du Plessis, and the team is in Pakistan to face the Pakistani national team. The 3 T20 International Series to be played from today, tomorrow and Friday in Lahore is the first major series in Pakistan in 8 years. Over 6,000 police officials and paramilitary officers have been deployed around the stadium for security reasons. The Pakistan Cricket Board Chairman Najm Sethi has said that the match will give an opportunity to Pakistan to showcase itself. It also added that these matches could revive cricket in the country. And that's it from me and my team in this edition of News. Thanks so much. Have a great day ahead.